Hi there. It's the 21st of April 2024, and I'm here to share with you a story about the Rwandan involvement in the eastern part of the DRC. But before we get to the main story itself, I would urge you to subscribe to my channel, and then if you can give me some likes so I can keep bringing out material of this type to you. The story is that the Rwandans have deployed nearly 3,000 troops inside the Democratic Republic of Congo, and they are also supporting the M23 rebels. The story comes from evidence that has been gathered from captured Rwandan soldiers who have been deployed in the eastern DRC, as you can see from footage I've just loaded on screen. And I would like to share with you. Let me see if I can get you a newspaper article to that effect. Yeah, it's from the Bloomberg UK site, and it's an American news organization, and it says here Rwanda has deployed 3,000 troops to eastern Congo, according to three Western officials in the region, and trains M23 rebels at a remote camp near the country's border. 5 ex-fighters who trained there have testified. So this is the story, and besides training the M23 rebels, the Rwandans are also supplying very sophisticated equipment to the M23 rebels, as you can see from the picture on there. This include missile launchers, as you can see from the picture on screen on there, and then these anti-tank missile systems, and very sophisticated equipment, and equipment of this kind, as you can see from the screen. And it also includes fixed-wing drones, Israeli-made grenade launchers, drone jammers, and Russian anti-tank grenade launchers. And then Rwanda is a tiny country, and it does not even have money to actually balance its own budget. And how it affords to do this is that the Western powers, the EU, and the EU recently granted 20 million euros, as you can see from the article I've put on screen on there. And at this point in time, this article is from 2022, but that's just to give you an idea of what's going on behind the scenes. The EU were saying they have given 20 million to the Rwandans to support their military mission in Mozambique. But then there is no audit on where these funds are used. Rwanda has deployed its troops, 3,000 of them, in the eastern part of Congo. And how do they afford this? These are some of the funds they are using to support their operations in the eastern part of the DRC. And the Congolese army itself, they do not actually have the resources to fight the M23 and its Rwandan allies. So, and the army itself has been weakened by 20 years of what has been called mixage and brassage. But what that simply means is that the Rwandans have been negotiating with the DRC government to actually integrate rebels who have been fighting against the DRC government for the past 20 years into its army. And some of these rebels, they are not even Congolese, they are Rwandans. And this has significantly weakened the DRC army and its capacity to fight against the M23. The DRC government, instead, it's actually relying on volunteers, self-defense militias, and in the eastern part of the Congo, these are called in and around the area around Goma. the militias who are stationed there, they are called the Wazalendos, and the Wazalendos simply means patriots in Swahili, and these are the people who are doing most of the fighting against the M23 and its Rwandan allies, the Rwanda Defense Force. And this is part of what's going on in the eastern part of Congo. And then you have got, I'll show you a map here, and this is a map of the M23. Yeah, this is the eastern part of Congo, the area near Goma, where most of the fighting is taking place. And the area in red here, this is where the parts of North and South Kivu, which is controlled by the M23, and the area in green here, that shows the activities of the Wazalendo self-defense militia, and they are trying to contain the activities of the M23, just that portion of the eastern DRC in red. And the South Africans have recently deployed nearly 3,000 soldiers, troops in the eastern part of the DRC, but not much fighting since has been going on since they deployed in around mid-February. And the reason is that Western powers are putting pressure on the South Africans to turn their deployment in the eastern part of the DRC effectively into a peacekeeping mission. They are deployed there, but they are not doing any fighting. And one wonders how that conflict is going to end if you have got the Rwanda Defense Force and the M23 fighting against self-defense militias. The Congolese regular army itself is so weakened, it's not even capable of taking on the M23. Recently, the SADC head of operations in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo has come out and said that their mission is offensive, and this is actually in response to what observers have noticed, that there is no fighting that's taking place from the South African side. I'll just give you this. This is the statement by the SADC head of military head in eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo.
I'm Major General Monwabisi Chiagopu, the head of the mission and the force commander of Summit DRC. Summit DRC continues with the execution of its mandate as directed by the chairperson of the organ. The mission was deployed on the 15th of December 2023 to support the government of the DRC to restore peace, security in the Eastern DRC. This is a response to the mandate by the extraordinary SADC Summit of the Heads of States and Governments held in Windhoek in the Republic of Namibia on the 8th of May 2023. The deployment of SADC is under the principle of collective self-defense and collective action outlined in the SADC Mutual Defense Pact of 2023. Summit DRC has an offensive mandate to support the DRC to neutralize negative forces and illegal armed groups in the Eastern DRC, to restore and maintain peace and security, to create a secure environment, as well as protect civilians and their properties under imminent threats or attacks. Since its deployment in the Eastern DRC, Summit DRC is working together with the Democratic Republic of the Congo National Army to restore and maintain peace and security, protect civilians and their properties under imminent threat from the negative forces and illegal armed groups. Furthermore, Summit DRC conducts joint operations and training with FARDC to ensure high efficiency and interoperability during these joint operations. The Summit DRC is committed to peace and security in the DRC and will continue to support and collaborate with the National Army in the fight against the negative forces and illegal armed groups.
Yes, so that's the
I'm Major General
situation in
Monwabisi
the
Tiagobu.
eastern part of the Congo.